and welcome to the Irish Arsenal Gooner Podcast. It's Tuesday, the 17th of May. I'm your host, as always, Jonathan Giles, and I'm joined by my regular guests, John Meany and Martin Stumble. How are you, lads?
Evening, Johnny.
Good evening.
And by our new UK guest, Carl Osborne from Northampton, better known as OZZY. How are you, Carl?
Well, it's good time to make a debut, right?
Or we just call you OZZY? Is that we lose your name as OZZY for the show?
That'll do.
Great for you to join us, OZZY, and hopefully you can become a weekly guest for us as well through the last couple of episodes for this season and hopefully into next season. So you're more than welcome to join us.
Oh, that's great. Cheers, lads.
As always, you can catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel, SoundCloud, Spotify, and ACAST. I'll go to Martin. How many views did we get for last week's entertaining episode?
I don't know the average anyway. It's just kind of like I was too busy with all the excitement during the weekend. Yeah, so no, but the average thing was. Let's hope we didn't get anybody for the questions, so like I'm a bit disappointed.
Yeah. Competition time was a copy of the latest issue of Gunnflash. It's a low budget show. The question was who scored the goal against Wigan in our 4-2 victory in the last day of the season. It's Highbury. Henry scored a hat-trick against Wigan, of course, but who was the other player to score? So all answers in the comment section on the YouTube.
I did not know it was that the game. Damn.
Yeah. Well, there you go. John, if you answer the question right, it's yours. And you can use it for loo paper if you don't want to read it. On this week's show, we'll be reviewing our two defeats, sadly. Last Thursday's 3-0 away defeat to Spurs, and last night's 2-0 defeat to Newcastle away also. And also we'll be previewing Sunday's last home game against Everton, which was a big one. Hopefully the Canaries can do us a favour and can sneak into forward, but it's a big ask. But we'll be previewing that, and then of course at the end of the show, anything football related and Arsenal related as well, of course. So we kick on to the review of last Thursday's 3-0 defeat to Spurs. Goals a brace by Kane and a third added by Son in the first minute of the second half all but killed the game. The red card to Holding did kill the game off for us. Whatever chance we had of getting a victory or even a draw was kind of killed off with that moment of kind of madness. It was a bit harsh in my eyes when you look back and he did elbow him, and it was a battle for the first 20 odd minutes between the two of them. Disappointing results at White Hart Lane. We said last week that was going to be a tough game. I was hoping for a draw. I didn't think we were going to win there last week, being a hand on heart, but I did think we would have got a draw. First 20 odd minutes we played reasonably okay, but the red card did change the game and Spurs just took it to us and we just I'll go to OZZY since you're a newcomer, OZZY. What did you make of the game last Thursday against Spurs?
Well, hugely disappointing. But to be honest, I thought we opened it pretty well. I thought we made a pretty promising start. You could see Son's game plan for me. One of the things I sort of noticed right from the start was how they both sort of double teamed Son and Kane sort of played a lot against Cedric.
Yeah,
I thought it's how we set them up. But Tomiyasu, I thought would have been stronger against them too, albeit he had a bit of a bad one last night. But yeah, opening to the game, I thought we was pretty strong, to be honest, and it raised my hopes a bit. But then Holding go straight to the Holding incidents. Really, I think within the first couple of challenges he made, you could tell. I said straight away, he's got to be careful. There was that sneaky sort of elbow from Son in that sort of jiu-jitsu move he was trying to pull on him, which sort of save it for the WWE rather than the football pitch. But you could see what Son was doing, and Son's a clever player, and he's a world-class forward, but he's got that ability to sort of, to sneak play. He played holding. There's no two ways about it. He absolutely played holding. You could see he was playing that. I think Kane had a word, just before the sending off as well. You could, and that run, holding. I know the pundits sort of said it's a straight red. I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest, but yeah, he did lash out, and you can't do that when you're on a yellow card. It's as simple as that. So I think that changed the whole game to me. The penalty was soft, but from the referee's angle, you can slow it down and watch stills of it. It's the stills look worse, but the angle that the referee, you could see the referee saw it from. You could see why you give it. I disagree with a lot of Arsenal fans, but I could see from the perfect angle behind the referee, see what he saw. You could see it, but from when you slow it down, look at slow mos, it's that's maybe, is it clear and obvious to go to VAR? I don't know, but soft penalty, and then from then really we was the sending off kind of killed us, didn't it? Really, and then you could see the way the players were reacting, but overall, I sort of, the way I see the team is we probably got caught up in the occasion. Hindsight's a good thing, isn't it? Because did we go there to win it? Did we go there to make a name for ourselves, and our players were a bit inexperienced for that? I don't know. But hugely disappointing. But at the same token, there's not much difference between us and Spurs, and I still think, Kane and Son really of a difference. And we miss it. I thought Eddie had not a bad start to the game, to be honest. I thought he put himself about well, but we just didn't match him in the end, did we? And it's disappointing as it is. But the red card changed the game completely, didn't it? It really did.
Yeah, I thought Cedric, as you said there, Cedric kind of got lost, didn't he? He got sandwiched in between Son. He just pushed him. It was a slight nudge, but I thought the referee was against us. I thought it was a bad game he had on Thursday. I think he lost complete the plot. The home crowd got on top of him, and he was making rash decisions all night. The third goal from Son in the first couple of minutes, second half, all but killed off us, didn't it? The energy went out. It was just sucked out of us, wasn't it? Yeah. John, what did you make of the spectacle on Thursday? We were in the Rever Bar, of course, watching it. So
I think OZZY just nailed it. I think the tactics were wrong. I think it's easy in hindsight to say the team selection could have been different, but it looked to me like we were chasing the game. It's exactly what Spurs wanted. We should have been sitting back and say, "Yeah, come on, try and hit us." Let them make the mistakes. We made the mistake by chasing them, and I mean, you could see it. The Spurs fans were pissed off after 10-15 minutes. Because Spurs were playing it around in front of the box. They were trying to suck us forward, and we fell for it. And because all they want to do was long ball over the top, have only one-on-one with Son, and there's only going to be one winner in that, unfortunately. As I said, hindsight's a wonderful thing. The lack of fully fit players, we ran out of them. So this was, I mean, would Tommy Asso on the right being better against Son? Absolutely. But then you would have had Tavares up against Kulusevski, who's a really good player. So, it swings and roundabouts. We got sucked into it. As you said, maybe the occasion got to these young players. I think the enormity of the game, no one expected us to be in this position. And I think it was just, everything just collapsed at the wrong time. The squad, injuries caught up on us, players missing. And the occasion, very sad. Probably predictable, but it's a learning experience for Arteta, because you don't have to chase that game. You let them chase the game. We're the team that should have been playing on the counter attack, not Spurs.
Yeah.
So not nice to sit there and watch it. But, you have to hope that this whole season has been a big learning experience for these young players. This is the kind of, they can see just the possibilities of how good they could be. They need to find that consistency. They need to find that mental strength to make the next step. And this summer's transfer window is hugely important. As OZZY said, we've got to this position without a striker. They've got 2 20-goal-a-season strikers. We don't have any. and we pushed them to the wire. We can't further ahead of United. West Ham, what everyone's tipped early in the season, we've gone a hell of a lot further than anyone expected us to, and that's without a striker.
Yeah,
so
I think
you can't do anything without goals. I remember talking to Eric at the start of the season. He wondered where the goals were coming from, and now in fairness, everyone's pitched down with a couple, which you need, but you've got to get that 20 goal a season striker, and you get that striker, and he makes everyone better. That striker will make Martinelli better, and Smith Rowe better, and Odegaard better, and Saka better. It's a huge summer for that. We need to strengthen the midfield because we had no cover. I know we haven't got to the Newcastle game. Yeah, but we'll talk about him about Bruno Guimaraes, who I thought was outstanding last night. But he's the kind of player I'd love to see in an Arsenal jersey. So there is improvements to be made in the summer, but no one should be overly disappointed with what we've achieved this season. No one expected us to get this close.
Yeah.
And for the first time in a long, long time, Arsenal fans should be excited about next season. Before we even hit the summer, we should be excited about what's going to happen, because we can see the potential of this. You've got to keep going back to that. We can see. I mean, this is a bare bones squad, youngest squad in the league, youngest manager in the league, smallest squad in the league, and this is how close they came. We just ran out of steam.
Yeah.
It's a learning experience. All you have to do is 3 or 4 really good signings. They don't have to be top caliber. It'd be great if we could, but just good pros would make a huge difference to this squad. So I don't want to harp on too much about the Spurs game. Who wants to talk about it? It's done. It's in the past. But, it's the disappointing thing is who's going to finish out of us. That's what hurts. But once you get past that, you've got to see what this team has shown us this season and say we're on the right path. So let's see what happens next season.
Yeah, and I think before we come to yourself, Martin, it's just it looks like we're going to qualify for the Europa League. It's a Thursday to Sunday headache, of if you get it's the quick turnaround in the fixtures.
It's no different than
and that's where you need strength and depth, though, and I'm hoping in the summer that we've got back up for each position, because it could be a tough. Is West Ham found a small squad? It's a tough old slog, and you mightn't get into Europe the next season, so you're really aiming to win that competition to get into Europe again, but I think we should have enough there next season to challenge on both fronts for European football. Martin, you were there, of course, as well in the River Bar. What did you make of the game?
Well, as John said, we just don't want to talk too much about it because it's just more disappointing than anything else. But there's one positive thing for it. It's the first time that the River Bar was actually hopping. Obviously, in North London Derby, we had so many people in. We had to get chairs from everywhere just to accommodate everybody. And it would have been great, if we could have got some result on it. And I think it's the occasion that came to us that, we said it, I think, in the podcast before, it's not the game we were supposed to play. We were supposed to sit down and let them do the thing, because they did that against Liverpool, they did that against Man City, and they won all 3 games now like that. And I don't know why, because we not saying we didn't have to win the game, but we didn't have to go out all guns blazing. Would have been great. Yeah, if it works out, you score a goal, happy days. But that's not always going to happen, isn't it? But yeah, it is what it is. The penalty, the decisions. Look, you can't. If that would have been on our side, like we would have said as well, it's a penalty. That's just what it is. It's a soft penalty, 100%. The red card. Look, holding had 4 bookable offences beforehand, so maybe that offence. It's not his fault that Son is that small and the elbow goes in his face. That's just the way it is. But look, it's disappointing what it is. But I think one thing, the occasion went to them. That's why we are such a young team, and I have to say, actually, it's actually amazing where we actually are with that kind of team, with the Bears, that we actually are still in a chance. We're not completely out of it. We're still with a chance to actually get forward. Very unlikely, but we are the last game of the season, and we can still get forward. As I say, it's not unlikely gonna happen. But it's a great thing to have, to be at the last day of the game, and you still have a chance. stupid things have happened in the Premier League. We know that, and it would be such an Amazon finish to get
For the
that done.
documentary.
For the documentary would be the highlight. It's like the Formula One last year with Hamilton and Verstappen,
Yeah.
you know. Shit thing happened, like, you know, like, and it was the best finish ever they got in the Formula One race. So look, it's not gonna happen probably, but it would be nice. But saying that, like, I think it was amazing that we actually are where we are. And as I said, to see all the fans back in the river bar, see the atmosphere, and that's just encouraging. And we can really look forward, hopefully, to a great season next year. But it is going to be important what we're going to do in the summer. We do need to strengthen. I mean, the game yesterday probably shown up a few more players that probably have to go. You know, like, look, I'm not going to mince every word they said yesterday because, like, the emotions were running high. But you can see, like, who wants to be in this team and who doesn't want to be in the team or shouldn't be in this team. And like, I'm more upset about yesterday actually than I was about the Thursday game, because it's never easy to go to Spurs. You know, it's just because of the match what it is. It's they're young players, like, you know, they know what it's all about, and holding the emotion got to him, and that's just what happened. You know, it was two team, but that's what it is. And as I said, I'm happy where we are now. I'm not happy. That's just a bad word, you know, to be happy. But I'm amazed that we actually at that spot where we are, and let's hope we can get something in the new year. Europa League might be a better for it because I think you can actually play younger players in the Europa League. So you get actually your fringe players to play, where you probably won't have that, especially because you have to go to Champions League and you would have to qualify. And God knows what happened to Chelsea. We never know. So we might get a spot that way. You don't know. But look, crap game, but the atmosphere was great, and that's what I enjoyed. And we had loads of guests. We had Arsenal Gothenburg over. We had lads from Canada, from Australia. So it's just great to see, like, you know, like, people to meet people again. You know, would have been great if we would have been all jumping up 3-0 for the Arsenal, but it didn't happen. You know, it was the other way around. But we were still good form.
Yeah, it was frustrating as well after. I know myself, OZZY and Mark were at the Leeds game, and I thought after that 2-1 home win, I was really enthusiastic about going to Spurs away and getting the draw, you know, because we'd won 4 in a row at that stage. And I think, hand on heart, I think the 3 defeats in early April, Palace, Brighton and Southampton probably did cost us in the end, really. You know, the Spurs and Newcastle games just didn't go in our way. But if we had won 2 out of them, 3 maybe, I think we would have sailed forward. And sadly, it's when you lose 13 games, including last night, over the course of a season, you probably don't deserve to get forward, you know. But look, it's a team in rebuilding, and we have to be realistic, you know. I'm sure the aim wasn't even to reach forward, you know. It would have been a bonus, but to get back into Europe was definitely a realistic aim, and thankfully we've all but sealed that now. So that's the end of that Spurs game, thank God. Banish that out of our memories. We had plenty of pints that night. I remember the cunt of a hangover I had on Friday morning. So we move on to last night's 2-0 away defeat to Newcastle, another disappointing game. I thought Newcastle, I think it was John was saying, Bruno Guimaraes actually had a really good game in midfield for Newcastle. I thought it was like Newcastle were chasing forwards last night, the way they took the game, and not us. I thought our body language was really poor. I thought we looked tired. You know, just didn't. Again, Newcastle's home fans really at the start, with that mosaic at the back as well, you know, they were really up for us, you know, and you can see the excitement with them new owners. They're excited about their future as well, so they could be up there challenging next season for Europe if they make a few decent signings in the summer themselves. Just want to go through some of the ratings to show how bad the players were from the newspaper I got there today. Ramsey got 5, Tomiyasu was 2, of course he came off midway in the first half. Ben White 3, Gabriel 4, Tavares 4, and Nenny 3, Xhaka 3, Saka 5, Odegaard 3, Smith Rowe 4, and Nketiah 3. I think that all but tells you how poor we were last night. I have to say, hand on heart, we didn't deserve even a draw out there. We were just really poor last night. I'll come back to you again, OZZY. What was your take on last night's match?
it was just, for me, it was hugely disappointing, just purely for the lack of fight. Like you said, Newcastle looked like they had more up for it. It felt like we was bullied from the outset. Well, from the onset, sorry. It felt like they've got some big players, Newcastle, and like Wilson and Joel Linton and Maximum. They're big lads, and I felt that they sort of really bullied. And sort of going back to sort of John's point earlier about the lack of experience in the young team, we have done remarkable, but I just felt there was someone I needed someone to look up to on the pitch. We're talking about that target, that centre forward, that player to look up to. And I think when we're in a situation like we were last night, we just needed that globe, that big star, that centre forward that was they could look up to change it. And these young players, I hope we just make the right additions over the summer. But yeah, it was flat. We didn't look at it, did we? Really, I don't think at one point. I think when Martinelli came on, there was a 5-minute period. Because I was praying for half time because I was expecting the goal to go in for half time. Went to half time. Martinelli came on. I thought he changed the game slightly. There was a brief period. I thought Tavares actually looked all right. He was getting down that wing quite well. And when I saw him come off, when I saw Tavares come off, I know he's not been great lately, but he at least looked up for it. And Martinelli, I say he changed the game slightly, but then as soon as that goal went in, I just didn't feel like we was going to score. I just didn't feel we had the resources to score. The players looked flat. I think Ben White and Gabriel must be carrying some sort of injury, absolutely, because that's not like them. I've been watching them all season, and that's not them. And Gabriel's normally up for a fight with anyone, to be honest. And he looked like he was getting not bullied, but he was just
not off for us. Yeah.
So I can't really point out. I think as a collective, the team were disappointing. And it's difficult to watch. Felt for the fans that had made some really long journeys up to there as well. Heartbreaking for them, really. I know quite a few people that went up there and spent all day travelling, and to see that sort of point. If you go down throwing punches, it's a lot better. It's a lot easier to take. But like John said, if you ask me, with one game left, there's still a chance. It's a very slim chance of Champions League football. I'd have bit your hands off at the start of the season, and the team deserve a lot of credit for that, and they've done that on their own. I look at talking away from Newcastle, but look at that Man City game at home. We went toe to toe with the best team in the league, with our best 11, and we went toe to toe with them, and it was experience that cost us at the end of that game, and refereeing decisions, but we won't go into that. But and sort of echo what John said. The team have done fantastic. I'm not going to slate them. They had a bad night last night, and I'm sure they'll learn a hell of a lot from it. And it's only going to make them young lads and Mikel Arteta better in the future. I have no doubt.
I suppose it was refreshing, before I come to John, it was refreshing to hear Zach's interview on Sky Sports after the game, how he kicked into the team. If you don't have the balls, don't bother turning up on the pitch, and that was towards everyone. I'm sure he even include himself. I'm sure he'll hold his hand up saying he didn't have the best of nights as well. But I suppose it is refreshing to see that there's a bit of heart still in Saka playing for Arsenal. I know he gets lated most of the time about his performances, but he showed last night, and even Arteta, they were disgusted by their own performance. That was a missed opportunity. But you have to give credit to Eddie Howe as well for what he's done in half a season. If this was when Steve Bruce was in charge, I'd more or less guarantee we'd beat them. And I honestly thought Newcastle would have been in a relegation fight, but he's turned them around. They could even finish mid-table, but the investment that's going to go into that club as well, it's exciting times for themselves as well. So, look, hats off to Newcastle. They deserved to win last night. As hard as that is to say. John, what did you make of the match last night? I know you were very fond of Gamer-esh last night in the middle.
Well, he did play the game, but again, you had to look at the team he was playing against. Back to your thing about the press and Sky TV in particular. None of them want to acknowledge that Tommy Asu was only back from injury, not 100%. None of them want to acknowledge Ben White, not 100%. Gabriel went off injured on Thursday. We weren't expecting them to play last night, not 100%. They don't want to hear that. They're just Arsenal were rubbish. They weren't up for it. What I looked like last night, I know you can say Shaka and Elneny, they're not young players, they're experienced players. But everyone else looks like they were spent. Absolutely 100% spent. Saka hasn't had a break in 2 seasons. He played all of last season, he had the European Championships, and then he's played every single game for us this season. How he's still going is beyond me. The kid is incredible. He has carried us for 2 seasons. He's incredible. I hope he gets a summer off. I really do. The team just looked tired, unfit. This is where the squad comes in, and we just didn't have the squad. We just didn't have it. We fell at the last hurdle because of that. I don't want to take anything away from Newcastle. What they've done since Christmas has been absolutely superb. As you said, Howe's come in, a couple of really good signings, and they've been absolutely superb, and they will come on because, as you said, they have a lot of money to spend. It was their last game. Fans were up for it. They were up for it. They were safe. Roll on next season. We just didn't have anything in their legs last night. And it's when you see Arsenal at their best, the passes are zipping along. The passes weren't doing that last night. The passes are coming in, you're controlling the first time and turning. Ball was bouncing away from them last night. It's a horrible way to finish your season. To see it. Well, finish your away campaign. You still have one more game to go. But as I said earlier, it's Saka's comments and even Arteta afterwards, brutally honest. They were not hiding anything. They weren't avoiding any questions. They gave brutally honest answers to a tough questions after a tough night. They deserve applause for that. They deserve to say, okay, take it on the chin. We weren't good enough. If you're not up for this kind of game, you don't belong at Arsenal. The young players need to know that.
Yeah. He was brutally honest, yeah.
Yeah, Thierry Henry said it years ago. Sometimes that cannon on the chest is too heavy for players. So these young players need to look inside themselves and say, "Wait, what do I want from this club? What can I give to this club?" This is the learning through it. I mean, they got all the plaudits when everything was going well. They're going to get kicked now because of the last couple of games. Yeah. This will make or break them, and I hope it makes them because there's a hell of a lot of talent in that team. So I don't want to go too hard on it. We were well beaten on the night. As I said, Grimaris, it's the first time I've seen a full 90 minutes from him. I've seen obviously highlights. Mm-hmm. He looks a really, really good player. We ain't getting him in the summer. But a couple of players of that kind of standard, I'd love to see in an Arsenal jersey. That's being brutally honest.
Yeah, it was amazing the few signings that Howe made in the January transfer window.
But they were clever.
Matt Targis, Kieran Trippier, Chris Wood. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he has
clever.
Been really clever with what he went in.
Yeah.
And he got them playing football, whereas Steve Bruce was just don't lose.
Yeah, don't lose. Yeah, he's a plan, Eddie Howe. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's had a good 6 months there.
Yeah.
He's made a good impression. Everyone wondered what would he do after Bournemouth. He's come in and after 6 months shown, this guy can go. So give him a bit of credit, but again, it'd be easy to lash into Arsenal. It'll be really easy just to tear them apart and say they didn't show up, they were cowards, they hid. I think it's just a young team after a long season with nothing left in their legs.
They look tired, yeah.
And we'll turn up.
It's not an excuse, but they do look tired, yeah.
Yeah, but they'll turn up on Sunday. It'll be the last game of the season. Full house. Hopefully the crowd will give them the ovation they deserve for their efforts this season. And you never know. If Norwich, sneak one early on.
Start streaming.
Strange things happen, Johnny. I mean,
strange things happen, but not like that.
You were up for sacking everybody and bringing in what's his name? The Accrington Stanley coach, for God's sake. You would have sacking everybody after the 3-2 to Southampton.
I was.
Yes,
you
never know.
Cut that tongue out of you, yeah.
Don't forget that game. I know it's like the last, but this could be 4 or 5 million more for Norwich if they be beaten Watford in the going from 20 to 19. So, for a team like Norwich, like 4 or 5 million, is a lot, especially when you go down. That's a lot of money. Like I don't think they're on the beach. As I said, it's very unlikely. But they still have to play something. The players don't want to be 20th. They have a chance to go 19th. Whoop-de-doo. But it's 4 or 5 million, they might get more money on it. So there's always an encouragement there. And it would be so Spursy, You know, if they would do that,
You said it. You said it.
It'd be a
it's just
case
like
of food poisoning on Saturday night. Like in
No,
2006.
as I said, John, the easiest thing in the world would be go hard on this Arsenal team.
You can't.
And I can understand why a lot of
yeah.
fans are unhappy about it. But
Yeah.
in the cold light of day, you'd have bitten the hand off anyone for fifth spot at the start of the season.
To be honest, John, as well, those 3 defeats, as I mentioned in April, it would have been easy to just down tools and say, look, that's our season over. They put a lot in those other 4 games to get, and I think they just, you know, the West Ham away game, I noticed we were a bit, we scraped that 2-1. We looked tired, you know, the pressure was, they could see the players, the pressure was on, you know, because we're fighting for fourths. And I suppose mentally it does get tough, but look, as John says, you would have bitten your hand off if you said we'd be fighting for fourths. Martin, what did you make of the game last night? You were in the River as well.
Actually, I wasn't. I was at home because I couldn't. Like I think. No, I had exactly, yeah. But like, I'm actually just wanted to go back to actually before the Chelsea game, and like putting Eamon into, and he would just say it was so frustrating yesterday. And you know the funny thing when we're talking about pressure, you know, like when and Eamon actually mentioned it, you know, like God knows what happens to the pressure after the 3 defeats. The pressure is off. We might go to Chelsea, might get something. And what happened? We actually got something because it was kind of like, I don't know, the pressure was just building up. You know, we're coming to the end of the season. They lost the 3 games, and then I said, we just play what it is. And they played against Chelsea. They played against United with a bit more freedom, I think. And now we're back to the thing that we actually had to defend something, you know, and we had to win something. And I think that pressure is really not what they're used to. And obviously, all the injuries we just. Somebody said in a comment, you know, we should have had a different team selection. I don't know who else you would have put on the pitch. There was nobody else out there. So, it's just kind of like, but it was disappointing the way they went. Are they tired? I don't know. They actually looked more nervous in the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Just kind of like, don't go forward, you know, like, don't think. And that just kind of like, I don't know. Like, it was just a really, really bad match to watch in the first half. And then the goal just kind of sealed it, you know, like it's, I don't know. It's just so frustrating. That's just the word for the season, isn't it? And the problem is and John said it as well. If there would be any other team besides Spurs in front of us, we wouldn't be as bad or unhappy. It's just like that you just don't want to see them on top of us, regardless where we are in the league. You know, like when we were 8th last year, like they went 7th, I think, weren't they? And they were still in front of us. And now we are 5th and they're 4th. You just don't want to see it. And I don't know. It's just kind of like, I think it all fell apart. The injuries, just like Tomiyasu was kind of like, you know, on the left side. He was way good, and then now he went back, and then White was coming back from injury. So the whole back four didn't even Ramsdale, I found that, and I think I said it afterwards. For the last couple of games, he doesn't have that same, I don't know, security, this kind of thing. I don't know if it's too much. Does he shithousery is just going to his head a little bit? You know, just be concentrating a bit more what you do. You know, I don't know. You can't blame it on the goalkeeper alone, but like it's just the unit of 4. Like we were changing for the last, I think, 15 games. Like we played kind of the same back 4 with Tierney, White, Gabriel, and Tomiyasu, and then when he went, Cedric kind of really fit in. But that kind of in the last, how many times did we change the back 4 in the last 4 games? And that's just like it just kind of not. It doesn't work, you know. And when the players are not fit, it just doesn't work. And I think that's why we were solid from the back. With Partey in midfield and Odegaard, I think that was the perfect link, and that's why we played our best football. And when we have them 11, we can beat anyone. But it just in the last couple of games, it just fell apart, and that's where the puzzle broke. But we're still 5th, and that's what I'm amazed about. I'm disappointed about all these messages we get on social media, you know, and that's the other side for it, you know, like, and it can't be easy for the fans to read that either, not for the players to read that either. And then when you come out, like, you know, with Xhaka and Arteta, like, you know, it is hard, like, because I still think it was a positive season. If we would have just the last couple of games we would have won and we came fifth, I think everybody would be hopping and laughing and whatever. But we had fourth in front of us and it was taken away, and that hurts. It always hurts, and the emotions are just flying high, and I just don't think there is need for it sometimes. And it must be really, really hurtful for the players. But I don't know if they read comments. I don't know if they read the Instagram post. They probably do somehow. It's impossible, especially like the press, like Sky. My God, they have an agenda against us, don't they? Holy shit! It's just
Carragher and Neville do, yeah. They've never been for Arsenal, yeah.
It's absolutely disgraceful, and it's kind of like who are Spurs, like what did they achieve here? What did they win here? Nothing. And if they think Ford is just winning the trophy, well, there you go. They might make a DVD out of it. I don't know.
let's put it this way. This is the best Spurs team in the Premier League they've had.
Yeah.
And they won.
And they're 2 points above Mikel Arteta and his kids.
Yeah.
That is a fair point, actually, Ozzy. Yeah. It's what Conte has done in a short space of time, like how
he's a good coach.
He's a good coach, isn't he? Yeah, and to think United turned him down, like because we
should be grateful.
He wouldn't give him. Yeah, I suppose we should. It's just going to Spurs. It's what he's done since January to now. Do they deserve for it? They probably do. What they've done, they've been a lot stronger than we've had. But if they take Kane and Son out of their team, they're very ordinary. Where do the goals come from, Spurs? Because they must have scored at least half. Son has got 20 odd, and Kane has got near enough to, so you take them two out.
40 goals, yeah.
It's just that really, as John and as he said, just no out and out striker, no one to look up to up front, as you said yourselves, lads. It was really showing against Spurs and Newcastle, and Ketty done his best, but he's not an out and out striker.
All Kane has to do is fall over his laces and he gets a penalty. So
it's just unlucky that we let Aubameyang go.
No, we have the.
I'm saying in transfer deadline day, if he'd went in early January, we could have had time to get some sort of striker in, because we would have had him one. But because he left on deadline day, we'd no time. But would we have got anyone in? Probably not. But look, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? If you could have signed Vlahovic.
Yeah, and I think
go back to Eamons.
Personally, I think that was the issue, that we concentrated really on getting Vlahovic, and we just. Yeah. I don't know maybe we find out like in years to come, or where these negotiations were, because where they maybe really assured that he might come, where they really, I don't know.
I think it was more a case of he was definitely leaving Fiorentina.
Yeah.
The chance was there to get him in January.
Yeah.
And that's what he went for.
Yeah.
It was the case of he's going to go this summer or this January, let's try and get him. It was the opportunity, and we were the only team in there other than Juventus. He's had a horrible time with Juventus, so he can rot in hell now for all I care.
It's great the way we can turn our backs on.
But
would be Arsenal.
They made a choice. He's a really good striker. He would have fitted in perfect with us. I don't blame the club for going for him. We've had this discussion before. The club know what they need.
Yeah.
Now, what striker we're going to get, I have no idea. Obviously, the rumour of Gabriel Jesus, good player, but we get him, I still want another striker.
Yeah.
We need to, don't
I wouldn't mind having him in the squad, but I still want another striker.
But at least in January, though, we didn't settle for a second best, and that's what I quite liked. I'd rather not sign anyone at all.
Yeah, we've been down that before.
Yeah,
we've been down that.
We're now rushing into transfers. Yeah. We're picking players that we need rather than
was a calculated risk, and if it would have worked out for Ford, happy days, like it worked out for fifth. And now we have the time, hopefully. And as I said, everybody said we're not in Champions League, we can't buy any players. That's bullshit. Because look at Gumaresh. Look at Gumaresh. He's going to Newcastle, and he knows he's going there for the project. He knows obviously there's a shitload of money there as well, if ever needed. That helps, and that was probably one of the biggest points for him. To go to Newcastle, because whatever they would have promised him, I don't think Arsenal would have been able to, or didn't want to pay that kind of money, or give guarantees to a player, in that thing, because we've been there, we've been bitten so many times. Look at Pepe. You just never know what they would turn out for. And look, I don't think that the midfield issue is really where we didn't go for it. I think it's just we didn't score any goals, and that's the striker. And I don't think there was anybody out there at the time who would have been anywhere close to replacing Aubameyang or been anywhere near in the Vlahovic thing for. And it just wasn't right. And we did, for the first time, we did exactly what we should not suppose. Don't panic.
Yeah.
And
calm heads. Yeah.
And that's hopefully like, look, I'm gonna panic in whenever the window's closed in August and we don't have a striker. Then I'm gonna panic. but I don't think this is gonna happen. They already bought somebody. I think another Brazilian, like who looks quite promising for 3 million. I don't know anything about him.
He won't play next season.
Exactly. So let's see what else is coming in. That's more important, I think. So
we wait and see over the summer months who we bring in, of course. That result last night leaves Arsenal, of course, in 5th position on 66 points. European football guaranteed with that result, as United are below us on 58. So in one sense, at least, you don't have to worry about not qualifying for Europe. Of course, Spurs have 68 points. All going well. Norwich hammer Spurs and we hammer Everton, and we're in 4th. In the likely event, Spurs will draw 0-0 and we'll draw 0-0 against Everton. Realistic terms, but look, a good season all around from us, considering the horror start we had back in August. So, in fairness, Arteta deserves a lot of credit. That brings us on to the preview of Sunday. Then, aside from John's taunts of Arteta out for the campaign. Thank God no one looks back into these episodes and takes out what we've all said. Of course, it goes on to Everton, the preview of Everton on Sunday, 4 o'clock kickoff. I'm sure it's going to be on Sky Sports or BT, being with the game that it is, with Everton fighting for their lives and us fighting for the outside chance of Champions League football. Hopefully, Everton will beat Crystal Palace at home on Thursday night, and that we can go all out and get a comfortable victory against them. But there's never an easy game with Arsenal, so it's going to be tough. Lampard has got them all revved up. They were lucky not to get something against Brentford at the weekend. That red card kind of early on in the first half, I think it was. Brantway got sent off, and that really, Brentford played some good football themselves. They've had a great season under Thomas Frank, so I had a feeling they would have got a draw or even a win there, so I'm not surprised that they bet Everton. Surprised that Everton are in that situation, being a big club, and the fan base now, but it shows when you don't invest properly over the years, you're just thrown into that, known as invincible, just not go down, as Leeds found out themselves. It took them nearly 15, 16 years to come back. I'll go to OZZY again. How do you see the game going, OZZY? We'll all be there except John again. How do you see the game going yourself?
I just hope, some players that, I hope the players get the support they deserve. And that's the message about, for me, Sunday is going there to, get behind the team and let's just try and get a result and just see what happens in Norfolk at the end of the day. If Norwich, I'll be looking on my phone. I'll be checking my phone. I certainly will be doing that in between cheering. But whatever happens Sunday, I just hope they get, people stay behind after the game, cheer the lads, and just show how grateful we are for the season they've given, because they've brought the fans together. They've created fans, players, we've built this atmosphere at the Emirates, and I think it's been great this season. So look, I hope we can win, and yeah, of course, we one eye on what's going on in the Norwich game. And just in relation to that Norwich game, if I was a Norwich player watching Sky Sports last night, if you need any motivation, that everyone's written them off already in that game. I think I like to think that they're up for it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It'll be what it'll be. There's nothing we can do about it. All we can do is win the game and go for that. And I just hope we can get 3 points and see what happens elsewhere.
Yeah, in fairness, Norwich drew 1-1 away to Wolves there at the weekend, so anything is possible on the day. Really clutching the straws, but that's Arsenal fans. we bite our fingernails till the very end. I won't have a liver come Sunday at 6 o'clock. I know that much with the amount of alcohol we'll be drinking. You'd hope that we go out and end the season on a high, and get, as you said, they've brought the feel good factor back, haven't they? Especially at home games, the supporters like the old days again, and a lot of younger fans are going, which is great to see, a new generation growing up, and hopefully they'll see the success that we saw. It's hard to believe it'll be nearly 40, and Arsenal last won the league 2004. It's so scary how you take everything for granted. You always think you're going to be winning trophies, and you have a midlife crisis, and then you're watching Arsenal. It doesn't get any better than that. John, how do you see the game going on Sunday? I'm sure you're like yourselves. That
well, look, you
hopefully we go out.
I think you nailed that. I hope Everton win on Tuesday night, so they're safe and they're on the holiday. They can just chill out and relax on Sunday. We just have to win. I mean, I don't know what kind of team we're going to have available. Who's going to be fit? You've no idea.
Yeah. Fit, yeah.
I just hope the fans get behind them and give them the send off that they deserve, because they've given us a hell of a ride this season. Really, I mean, you have no idea who's going to be fit enough to play. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You won't be surprised to see some of the kids, some younger kids. Patino could be on the.
I'd like to see Patino actually. Yeah, good talent, isn't he?
He needs to go out on loan next season.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But it's too. How can you adjust this when you don't know who's going to be playing? If Everton fail to win on Thursday night, they're going to be out like rabid dogs. To try and win. Sunday. If they win Thursday night, they could turn up with cans in their hand and say, "The hell with it, we're done." Yeah. So let's cheer on Everton Thursday night and hope we get the drunk lot instead of the rabid dogs instead. So that's all I can say.
Do you think as well, John? Do you see this could be the last games for the likes of Lacazette and Pepe? Do you think that could be?
Yeah, I think Lacazette he won't be getting a new contract. I wish him well. He's given us 100%. His legs are gone. Pepe, if we can get a buyer, definitely he'll be gone. At very least, I think maybe even a loan deal or something.
Yeah.
But he needs to go just for his own bloody career. He needs to go. I don't see Eddie signing a new contract either. Just talk of El Neni getting a new contract. I'd like to move on.
Yeah.
As I said, a couple of better players. Improve the squad. We almost sold Xhaka last season. Only Roma couldn't find enough change behind the sofa to pay for the transfer fee. I think now I've criticised Xhaka a lot, but I think since he came back into the team just before Christmas, he's actually played really, really well, and he's formed a good partnership with Parky. Whether he'd want to stick around as a squad player, I doubt it. So you never know, if Roma find a few more loose change behind the sofa, they might come back in for him. But,
probably the end for Bert Leno as well, do you think?
Well, it's possible. I mean, in fairness, he's been totally professional, Leno. You've got to applaud him for that. He hasn't made any. When he did play against Villa, he turned up and played really well. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't go. We've got this American goalkeeper coming in for us that we signed from New England and Bruce, I think it is. So we're covered there. So I won't be surprised. It's a case of how much money can we get and then reinvest somewhere else. There will be changes. So it's a case of watch this space. Let's be honest. Yeah. If Spurs do a Spurs, the budget will be bigger. Let's see what happens.
Our Owen Raff Hassan Hotel down the corner of the screen here. How do you see? They're holding Liverpool at the moment 1-1. How do you see the game going Sunday yourself against the Toffees?
Yeah, look, first of all, it's going to be some occasion because there's going to be loads of us gone over. So that's going to be one good thing about it. Like, as I said, it might be even easier to go over now because imagine we would have had that stress in the stadium, actually, like we have to win. Like that would be even worse, I presume, So, no, look, it's going to be hopefully a good sender for a lot of people. I think the atmosphere will be absolutely brilliant, like they're going to play the anthem again. That's just going to be, fitting for that as well, I presume. Who we're going to play or who's going to play, we don't know. That's just, your guess is as good as mine, so we don't know. Hopefully, Everton are safe and sound. And look, it's a game, like, I hope we should win. I don't think the should be thing. We have a bit of revenge from the game, which we shouldn't have lost, actually. Like it's another game they were in such in a slump, and we had this as well. Like, we gave so many teams like a giddy up again. For they were down in the slumps, and then Arsenal comes and gives them, oh, you go, there's a leg up, off you go, like you win a game, there you go, off you go. And Everton shouldn't have won that game. We should definitely went there and won, and let's hope we can get a bit of revenge of that. Who's gonna play? I don't know, but it should be a good send off. There will be loads of us over there, so we're gonna have our flag over. We're gonna meet loads of people, as much as I know, and it should be a good game. The result from now. Look, I hope we win. That's all I hope for. Because we just don't want to. I think as well as like the players don't want to go losing 3 in the trot again. Especially now in the last home game, and you can see Newcastle. That's what the extra push was. It was the last home game. The fans were totally up for it, and it pushed them over. And I think we can do that as well on Sunday. And look, let's hope we win. And yeah, let's be a good game.
I don't want to go as we normally do with predictions. I'll go with 3-0 myself.
Oh Jesus! No.
I don't want to go with Pepe to score 2 and then Nketiah.
The way Pepe played yesterday, he wouldn't score. I don't know what the hell is happening. Because
he had a shocker of a game when he came on.
It's the strangest thing what happened with Pepe, because when he came in, and I think his wife had a baby and he wanted to play. And then he came in, and maybe his wife should have more babies. I don't know. Like maybe he doesn't need to sleep. Maybe he just needs to be having an all-nighter and then turn up for a game, and he is actually there. But since that game, we all went, so look, that's the Pepe we've seen. He should be playing like that. He's the money we paid for him. That's exactly what we expect. But he just didn't turn up for any of the games. That thing against Leeds, was it Leeds where where he should have scored that goal, and he's the fastest player on the pitch, and he's making a step back. What the hell? And stupid decisions like that, even like yesterday, making a pass across the pitch, and losing possession, and could have cost us. Could have been 3-0. Stupid things on it. So let's see what happens to him. I don't know if he. I don't think he wants to be there. It just doesn't look like it.
His head is gone. Yeah.
So let's hope we find somebody and reinvest that money. And then let's see what happens in the off season.
I got a prediction of you and Martin, since you're optimistic about Sunday. Go ahead.
Well, optimistic. Like look, we didn't have a clean sheet for God knows how long. I think the last clean sheet is when Leonard was in goal against Villa.
Was against Villa, yeah.
which is really strange.
Scary.
That is very scary. So I go with 3-1. I think we can score. I don't know who's going to score the goals, but
Patina with a hat trick.
2-1.
2-1. Yeah, that's more realistic. John?
Yeah, I'll go 2-1. I think, yeah. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, so fingers crossed. I'll say 2-1. It'll be a nice way just to finish the season.
Yeah.
Couple of goals up backside, it'll be grand, yeah.
OZZY?
I'm going to go 2-0, and I'm going to say Leno's going to start in goal.
Ooh, big shout.
Yeah, good shout, that, isn't it? Yeah, just as a farewell type. Yeah,
and there's your clean sheet.
Yeah, there's your
Yeah.
There you go. Are you listening, Mikael? your team has been announced.
Oh God.
Going to OZZY again. You've been to a few Arsenal pubs around London, I'm sure, pre-match and post-match. What pubs would you recommend to our listeners here to go to on match day?
It's got to be either the Eaglet or Tollington for me. The atmosphere is absolutely rocking. Eaglet post game, Eaglet's fantastic, and Tollington equally as well. The best thing about them, there's short distance between them, so you can do both.
I also recommend myself and Martin and sorry, what's your mate's name? Those with us again. I completely forgot his name. Richard. That's it. We went to the Euro Cafe on Holiday Road, so highly recommend it for a bit of pre-match grub. If you're ready to get sauce for the day, I'd recommend going there.
Yeah.
Also just sorry to mention, I saw over the weekend William Saliba got young player of the year in the League One. What do you make of him, Ozzy? Would you like him back next season? Do you think? I think, in my own opinion, he's ready to come back now. But do you think? Do you think he'll come back?
Yeah, he's a highly rated player. I think the loan's done him good. I've watched quite a lot of his games this season actually on BT Sport, and I think he's pretty solid. I think it'd been a baptism of fire if he had started in Premier League for us.
Yeah.
So I think absolutely right decision. I think we've got some. There's a lot of players coming back, and we've got to remember that we've got to deal with them this season. But Saliba, for me, it would be good for him to push Ben White.
Yeah.
Because I think, as much as Rob Holding comes in and does a job, I don't think he pushes them. And I think Saliba might be doing that. He might open up a system change. I don't know, to see, three at the back and wing backs. Maybe an option. I don't know. But yeah, I think we've got a lot. I think as well as Saliba, we've got a few players out on loan that need to be resolved, don't we?
Who would you like actually mentioned? Who do you think, in realistic terms, will come back from their loan spell? That's out and loan at the moment.
Well, we'll think about it. We've got Maitland-Niles. I think he'll come back. I think, to be honest, he's not really impressed at Rome with what I've seen. I think it's time for him to probably move on, but I think he'll go probably somewhere in Premier League. And then we've got Guendouzi coming back, who he's been pretty impressive for Marseille, I must say.
Is he not sold? No.
Yes,
I think he's agreed. He's agreed, but he's agreed that he's going to go. But I think technically he's asked till June, isn't he?
Yeah.
To June, right?
But he's been a fair play this season. But Torreira has also been very good at Fiorentina as well. But I just don't think he's cut out for Premier League football. I just don't think he's cut out for that. So I think out of all the loan players, I think Saliba's a standout one for me. But I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I'd like to see Balogun back myself. I think Wilder's done a good job with him, hasn't he? He's beefed up and he's paced the burn as well.
Again, it depends what situation. Does he need another year alone? I don't know. I think that's a big call from Arteta, that really, because I don't think he's going to come in and play first. But Europa games.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like with Europa League, like I think that would suit Balogun a bit more. I think than if he would have played Champions League, because I really think like when you play Champions League, and I think because we're fourth, we would have to qualify. You would have to play a full strength team. You can't afford not to go into the group stages, and then even then in the group stages, the games are a different caliber than European football. And I think in the Europa League, like we have a little bit more chance to get the players, whoever it's going to be, if it's Balogun or whoever is going to be the fringe players, like to get them out on the pitch, and play them a bit more. So yeah, I think Balogun coming back, I think that's a good show for him.
John, would you like to see William Saliba back yourself?
I would like to see him playing an Arsenal jersey before I can make my mind up. I know he's had a really good season for Marseille. He'll have 2 years left on his deal when he comes back during the summer. It may be a case of, look, sign the deal if we're going to sell it, extend the deal.
Yeah.
He looked really good for Marseille, and as Ozzy just said, I think he'd be a step up from Holding. And let's be honest, Holding's been outstanding as part of the back three this season. He has. The number of times he's come on and showed up that defence, I don't want to take too much away from him, even though he was terrible on Thursday night. He got sucked into something he shouldn't have. I think Saliba gives you cover there. I think absolutely you've got to bring him back and let's have a look at him. Let's see him in an Arsenal jersey.
Yeah.
I like the idea that Balogun coming back, especially if it's Europa League. As Ozzy said, he's not going to get games in the Champions League. But if it's Europa League, he'll probably play every group stage. And then you can have a look and see how he's doing and maybe give him another loan next January. So definitely let's see how he's come on. He's done well in the Championship. Let's bring him back and have a good look at him again. See if he has improved physically and mentally and if he's voiced up a little bit. Torreira, I think he's gone. Maitland-Niles, I think we'll get a buyer for him. Who else is out there?
Hector Bellerin.
Sorry?
Yeah,
Bellerin,
yeah.
Bellerin wants to stay in Spain. I think he does. He looked very emotional at the end of the season last week. He's he won the cup with them. So congratulations to that. And it's just I think there's a deal to be made there.
What about Nelson? He's in the final.
Europa League final next week, isn't he?
He struggled early on. He's done well over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
I don't see Feyenoord buying him. purely because the money in Dutch football is just not there. But he maybe impressed someone that will take a punt on him. I don't see him coming back to Arsenal.
No, and Mavropanos is seemingly staying in Stuttgart because they have a buyout clause in it, like 4.5 million.
Yeah.
He's staying, is he? Yeah,
Yeah,
I like Mavropanos this season. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like it's one of these, it's one of the players you didn't really see, you just don't know like what they're really like because they don't have the chance to play. We didn't have enough games to play them. But look, if we can sell him and we make some money out of it, we reinvest it,
Yeah.
And then that's all we need,
Yeah. Yeah. Aside from the men's team, which we always seem to cover a lot of, the women's team as well, they had a good season as well, finishing second, wasn't it, in the league? Unlucky they brought their game to the last game of the season. Just unlucky they had a tough Chelsea. Chelsea are a top team in that division, and I'm sure. I know the women's Irish manager got another contract as well, so I think they'll go on strength to strength next season as well, and hopefully bring home the league, the Women's Super League as well. So, big congrats to them for their season as well. Is there anything Arsenal or football related, lads, as you'd like mentioned or anything?
No, I think we'll talk about next week. Let's leave something for next week. I'm sure Eamon will have a little listen to us later on.
He'd be saying Arteta out all the way.
Yeah.
So frustrating, Thursday. And next week's show we'll be reviewing hopefully a nice end of season victory to Everton. Norwich beating Spurs. Hopefully we'll be reporting on as well. We'll also be going through a season review as well, picking out the best moments and there's plenty of bad moments, so I might leave them to one side.
Yeah.
Also,
I tell you something. If Norwich beats Spurs, we might have to put the podcast on the Wednesday. Might want to be sober on Tuesday.
If we all go home.
I don't think that would. I'll probably not be back from London by then.
Yeah, Martin's taking up the Austrian job, you were saying to me. Also, competition time before we close the show tonight. A chance to win this month's Gunnflash issue. Hopefully someone's listening to this show tonight. I'll choose a different question for this one. Who was the Austrian goalkeeper that played for Arsenal in the 97-98 winning season? I know Martin knows it, and I'm sure we all do. But if you leave your answer in the comment box, you have an issue of Gunnflash to yourself. So hopefully someone listens to that, and you've got a copy there for yourself. Yeah, I'd like to thank John, OZZY, for his first show. I thought you've done quite well. Hopefully, you'll be back next week, OZZY, and Martin as well. You can catch the show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel, Spotify, SoundCloud, and on ACAST. So until next Tuesday, thanks for listening to the show, and have a good week. Come on, you Arsenal.
Yeah, come on, you Gunners.
Talk to you next week.
See you guys.